Hey, Nick, I'm thinking about breaking out of this place.
Oh, yeah? This junt?
Institution.
Oh, yeah? What do you want to do afterwards?
Go to my doctor's family's house and kill everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like you and Jack Palance have a lot in common.
We do.
Hey, guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, coming at, and your favorite final babysitter. Let's not forget Mike over there.
Yo.
Coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me With a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. This week, it's time to finally talk about 1982's Alone in the Dark. As usual, Emily's got an original VHS and Pray for a Blackout, and let's hear what's on the back of that box.
Some of the patients in the Haven, a state mental hospital, think that their doctor is going to kill them. These psychopaths are treated by Dr. Dan Potter, a new therapist. In their twisted minds, they feel they must kill Dr. Potter to survive. Considered dangerous. Okay. Hawks is a former Considered dangerous, incorrigible, they are kept in a top security ward. Hawks, played by Jack Palance, is a former POW. Preacher, Martin Landau, is an angry prophet, and Fatty, Erlen Van Lith, who cares, is a 370-pound Hulk who devours little girls. Or rapes them, actually. But one night, a citywide blackout enables the men to escape from their electric cells. They circle Potter's house, trapping him and his family inside. Cut off with no weapons, no telephone, and no electricity, the family faces a terrifying night, alone in the dark. 1982, your thoughts?
I think this movie should have had two different titles. City Slickers 3, Curly's Revenge, or Donald Pleasant Smokes a Joint.
Donald Pleasant gets into opium.
He gets wet.
I thought it was great. I mean, it had Martin Landau, Jack Palance, Donald Pleasance.
I crap bigger than you.
I mean, the heavy hitters in this one.
I'm a number one.
I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
Yeah, it was good. It was very well acted. It was very. It got intense in some parts, actually. But yeah, top notch cast, man.
Yeah, and we get Lynn Shay.
Yeah, she is in there, man. Fucking
yeah, because this was actually the first horror movie that New Line Cinema came out with.
Yeah. The
third movie in general. So it came out before A Nightmare on Elm Street, but so Robert Shay was part of it. Yeah, so let's get us going, Mike.
All right, so we see Martin Landau walking to Mom's Diner. Everything seems kind of off.
Yeah, there's a grease fire in the back.
Yeah, there's a huge fire in the back. He orders the usual, and they bring out this weird fish, and a frog hops out of it. And then we see Donald Pleasance with a knife, speaking eloquently. And starts raining, and
I think.
Oh, he just runs out of the kitchen and goes 6 times.
It starts like raining inside of the building, and there's lightning.
It's a really cool. It's a really cool scene, man. I like it a lot.
And then all of a sudden, Martin Landau's like hung upside down, and Donald Pleasance splits him with a huge meat cleaver. But he wakes up screaming.
From crotch
It was
down.
all just Martin Landau's nightmare.
And then it cuts to the title sequence, which had really good music, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought the whole score to this was pretty
punk,
excellent.
the Sick Fucks.
Oh, Sick Fucks
yeah.
are awesome.
They actually,
the Sick Fucks are in there.
I think they changed their name to the Sick Fucks after the movie. Yeah.
No, I like that, man.
Yeah.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. So there's a sooty-faced man, a guy that has like black stains all over his face, and he is there to see the guy who runs the asylum, Dr.
Bane.
Donald Pleasance.
Leo Bane. It's played by
Bane.
Donald Pleasance, yeah.
And we find out that he had car trouble on the way up, so it's not soot. It's like grease. But he's late to see the doctor, and Lynn Shay is playing what we think is like the receptionist.
Oh, no.
But it turns out she's not really the receptionist.
Right.
She's one of the patients here at the Haven. And
because she says the doctor's invisible.
Yeah. You can't see him because he's invisible. But then another lady comes and takes him to the Dr. Donald Pleasance, Leo Bane. And Leo Bane kind of seems pretty out there himself.
He gets real handsy with the new doctor.
We realize very right there too that he's pretty much playing the same character as in Halloween, except for the fact that he doesn't believe anybody's evil. But he's still like a psych doctor, so
Yeah, it's the same thing.
So then we're at the Potter
still
home.
crazy as hell.
Yeah, he's wild as a rattlesnake. But we're at the Potter's house. There's a broken vase. We see Jack. Jack Palance is like walking back and forth in his cell, and he ends up setting off an alarm because it's all electricity. Electricity is the only thing that separates us from them.
Well, this is all just found footage of Jack Palance.
He's such a good breather.
Yeah.
But
He's been using brand
it goes back to Dan, who's the new therapist or whatever. He's at his house.
Yeah, what happens there? I just.
You meet his wife.
You meet the wife and
her name's
daughter.
Nell, and at first I didn't know if it was his real daughter because she called him Dan.
Well, it could be a stepdad situation.
But it was. I don't know. It wasn't because later on he said like, "That's my daughter," whatever, and she calls him Dad later. But I did wonder that at first too. But
the kid is ugly, man.
I thought she was cute.
I liked her.
She's like a young blossom.
At first, I thought, ew.
You're right. It is like a young
Disgusting.
blossom.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
come on.
I did like her more as the movie went along.
That's not a good defense.
She's good comic relief.
She
man.
is.
Come on.
Yeah, she's a good actress.
But I guess we go straight back to the hospital. They're talking about the third
floor
Yeah.
is maximum security, but I don't think they have any bars or anything. It's just all
No,
electric.
because he doesn't want it to feel like Donald Pleasance, Leo Bain, he says he doesn't want it to feel like, he says it's a haven, not a jailhouse. And
the patients,
those patients
they're
required
voyagers.
maximum security. So he did the least that he could do to satisfy the government or whatever.
it's
and so he has these
smart move.
electric doors. But
Seeing what unfolds later.
Who
in
would
the
have
case
not
of a
thought
blackout,
about the blackout possibility?
So,
but he calls them voyagers he calls these all the crazy
again.
people voyagers that are on a journey. And he says something like it's a violent society and they're done with their violence. They're working on other things now. I was like, yeah, right.
So this is where Potter.
But he does say they wouldn't survive outside of the insane asylum. But he does say
won't
that.
survive.
But he does say that one of the reasons they don't have bars is because Frank Hawks, which is played by Jack Palance, was a POW, and that would the bars would
That's a pretty good balance, Nick.
would I guess trigger some kind
So
of
Potter's
PTSD.
going to meet all the crazy people.
But there's only
He's
four
gonna be-
guys.
4 guys on the 3rd floor. There is what, Fat Boy?
Fatty. They call him Fatty.
I call him Big Boy in my notes.
But his nickname's Fatty. Then there's Preacher Byron and Frank.
And the preacher likes to set churches on fire with people in them or something?
He likes to set things on fire in general.
is that when Jack Palance goes, he likes to set things on fire, but people are in them.
He says that later. I have it written down, but
that's his trip.
But
That's his
he talks about
trip
everyone's
indeed.
trips later because one of them is I'll go into that. But and then there's the bleeder.
The bleeder.
And
yeah.
he won't show his face, which now we know at the end you realize why they don't show his face.
He's over there clawing at the wall.
They say that he's shy around new people, so he won't show his face. And then he also gets introduced to Ray, who's my favorite character, who's the guard on that floor.
So, at some point, Jack Palance's character, Frank, starts thinking that Potter has killed their old doctor, which apparently
Dr.
they
Martin.
really liked.
Yeah.
And that's going to come in to play real big.
Well, he says,
going down
"Happy
the stretch.
trails, Dr. Potter."
Happy trails.
And Leo goes, "I hear you, Frank." I was like, okay, whatever. So they're in bed at night, and he's like, "Potter killed Harry Merton, and now he wants to kill us." It's like, thanks a lot, Frank.
Now he wants to kill
So-
us.
And then I said, who the fuck is Tony? But they're talking about, they go back to, Tony's Dan's sister, but.
Who the fuck is
There's a family
Tony?
breakfast. We see Donald Pleasance after the breakfast, and they're talking about Sony.
Tony, well, it's important to note that this is when we find out Tony had just recovered from having a nervous breakdown. because Nell, his wife, is like, I don't know about, Tony or whatever. Is she going to be okay? And he's like, breakdowns can be cleansing. So she's coming to visit.
Hope to
Tony's
God
the
that's
sister,
true.
right?
Yeah, Tony's his sister. Yeah,
She's the
Proto Kimmy Gibbler.
cutie.
yeah, side ponytail.
Oh, yeah.
A lot hotter than Kimmy Gibbler.
Oh, fuck
She's
yeah.
beautiful.
Nothing
So-
against the Gibbler.
But yeah, we go back to
Dr.
this is when
Bane's
he's like
smoking some
smoking opium.
grass.
No, it's opium. It's an opium pipe. He's
I
smoking
could have sworn
opium.
he said he called it herb.
No, later
he's
on,
getting lifted.
it's opium. But he keeps on calling. He says they're Voyagers
You can
again.
mix that stuff.
And he's like, schizo taking a journey. Okay, so he's Loomis. Whatever.
And then Potter's upstairs talking with
But
Curtis.
no, before that, he goes, mind moving fast is crazy. Mind moving slow, saint. Mind stopped is God. I was like, you're
thought
crazy as hell. Like,
Mind stopped is
okay,
dead.
Bane.
Yeah,
What
dude,
the
he is
fuck?
lifted, cuz. You getting
but
wet? Dream
that's
with me,
when-
baby.
That's when they go to Ray asking Potter if he wants some herbal tea, and when he says no, he's
Yeah.
like really disappointed about it.
Do you think it was more
I don't know.
like drugs?
I'm not. I don't know.
So I think we're about to where the preacher sets his coat on fire. He keeps asking everybody for matches, and Bane finally gives him some matches.
Great idea.
And then
But
we
no,
hear
before that, Ray does tell Potter. This is important. Ray tells Potter that Hawks has told these other three and thinks that he killed Merton and he wants to kill them. So they want to kill Potter. So he knows this. Like he knows this very early on that this is like something they want to do.
yeah,
He didn't really take it seriously.
It doesn't
but-
just come out of nowhere. He knows this is a possibility, or should.
Yeah,
So
but he gets
the
a
fire
match
pit
from
happens.
Bane while he's talking to some woman about her intestines that are coming out and strangling her, and she's turning into porcelain. But okay.
So we hear like shouting.
Trippy, man.
But
the
Leo does
shirt's
give him a
on.
match.
Yeah, he gives him a match. Dude lights his shirt on fire. But Leo comes over there and threatens what we saw in the dream. He's like, I'll split you right down the middle if you don't, put that down or
Straighten him
whatever.
up real fast.
Okay, and this is where Big Boy Fatty
is in Dr. Potter's office.
Dr. Potter's office. He finds a piece of mail that has Potter's address. He also sees a picture of his wife and little girl. And Fatty is a child molester, so that probably caught his attention.
And then we meet Tony.
Then Tony, the beautiful sister, shows up. And
She asks if there are
she's
any
asking,
Rastafarians
yeah,
around.
she's asking about reggae shows, and she mentions going to see a punk rock show later.
Yeah, she's into music now.
Yeah, she's like, I want to take y'all to a rock concert. And I was like, yeah.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Tony, Nell, and Dan. I was like, I do not see this dude letting loose, but
Oh, Dr. Studebaker?
yeah.
Is the name of the club Stumps?
I don't know. But it cuts back to like Dan and Frank.
Yeah,
And they're talking about Merton. And I think that Dan's trying to get him to realize that Merton's not dead and he's in Philadelphia. But
Of course you would say that.
that's when Ray talks about his voyage. And he's like, we're all on these different trips. And Fatty's trip is to rape little girls. Byron's trip is fire. And he says, I'm social. We aren't crazy. We're on vacation.
Yeah.
That's his trip.
Yeah. But they're taking a trip to the rock concert, hilariously talking about these people's crimes, laughing about it. The bleeder strangled people, but every time he would strangle them, he would get these vicious nosebleeds. So that's why he was called the bleeder. And then they like start laughing about
that's a
Fatty
great
being a
gimmick.
400-pound guy that
great
rapes little
gimmick.
girls. And they're like, and I'm like, what kind of fucking conversation is this? Also,
It's different.
patient doctor confidentiality breach, but
Who needs it?
Yeah, fuck it. Fuck
So
$18 concert though, by the
yeah.
way.
Well, I think that was for all three tickets. It was $6 a head, right?
I don't know.
it. It was $6 a head, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was like $18.
Even for the 80s, that's kind of like a
And I
weird
thought-
price.
Steep, man.
I thought he
That
said
is kinda
18 a piece.
But this band's pro.
Yeah, they're good.
They had it going on.
Yeah, dude.
Chop up your
The sick
mother.
fucks,
Chop
dude.
up your mother. Like they had the ladies with all the like big toy axes
Yeah,
or whatever.
dude. Yeah, this
Chop,
show
chop,
and
chop,
this show
chop.
looks awesome, man.
yeah.
So the sister, she just like runs up to the pit.
Fuck yeah.
She's trying to get in the middle of it. But we get to hear the sick fucks for a little while, and then the power goes out like middle of a song, and we see that it's also gone out up at the Haven. And
they get in the car and the radio says, "This blackout is either an act of sabotage or an act of God." And I was like, really? I was like, that's what you have to say on the radio about this? And also, if there's a blackout, can you send transmission to anything?
I would imagine they
I
have a
think
generator.
radio might still work.
Yeah, I guess to send emergency signals.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't get them on like a TV. I don't know. I have no idea.
Somebody's got to
Whatever.
have a fucking generator.
So at the asylum,
Right. I was like, oh no.
yeah, they decide hey, this is the time we escape, and unfortunately they find Ray. Ray was just trying to hide. They could have just left, but they find Ray.
Yeah, and
there's a
he's
sick
like, I'm a
backbreaker.
sinner, man, because he's trying to talk to Byron. He's like,
whatever. I'm a sinner, man. Yeah, whatever.
He's like, please forgive me, but preacher doesn't care, and he beats him, and then Fatty takes him and
it's a backbreaker, like
breaks his
Argentine
spine.
backbreaker, maybe.
Yeah.
It's definitely a wrestling hold.
Well,
like,
he was that guy was a professional bodybuilder, so because the scene where later on he picks that girl up, that's real.
That's real.
Yeah.
Man, I had no idea.
Oh, and then I wrote new phone. Who dis? Because it's Dr. Barkin, but we've not seen him in the movie. He's a doctor at the institution, but we haven't seen him at all.
But he
just
just
random doctor that shows up during the
flings
blackout.
Him out. The way Fatty throws the doctor is
But
pretty great. Apparently, it killed him.
That shot was really cool though, because he pulled the doctor. This random doctor pulls up. He gets out, and his headlights are on the institution, and all these people are outside. But then you see the main escapees, like the guys we're gonna follow. They all come out at once, and that shot's really cool. Like the headlights hitting them, and they're like all walking together.
Yeah.
Towards them, and then
Like Reservoir Dogs
Fatty
or
pulls him
something?
out of his car and throws him hard enough to, I guess, kill him.
Yeah, they say he's dead. I didn't think he was dead, but
He is in the kill count, so
so I guess the power.
Also, at least
something
it
makes
makes-
up the babysitter Bunky.
it does make sense though in this movie, as opposed to another Donald Pleasance movie, Halloween, that someone knows how to fucking drive.
Yeah,
It makes no sense that Michael Myers can
No,
drive,
he's
but at
not.
least like we understand that these people had lived in society
They probably
before.
went in knowing how to drive.
Yeah, but someone did.
Yeah.
was Frank at the wheel?
I think, yeah. And later on, I was like, well, where's the bleeder after the looting situation? Then I realized,
Yeah, he kind of takes his own way.
yeah.
But so they steal the car. They
Yeah,
steal the car.
yeah, Bunky, yeah, so it goes to Bunky.
Does Bunky get awakened by the power going on?
Bunky.
No, she gets awakened by them coming home from the concert. They wake her
Oh,
up.
okay.
Bunky is
And
Then we cut to,
she
like-
says she's really cute.
Oh,
also.
yeah.
low rent Sharon Tate, but
And
it
she
works.
says
I'm more of a Tony guy.
she hopes that they don't fix the blackout too soon. And I was like, okay, well, you're cute but dumb.
Dude, I
She
I
loves
like me some
candlelight.
Bunky.
So now, like, the escapees, this blackout
Dude, they go
situation
fucking crazy.
dissolved very quickly because there is looting going on immediately.
There are fires everywhere.
And-
Yeah, suburb rioting and looting. Like, it goes to shit real fast.
Like immediately, and the escapees go
They seem real into
they
it.
go into this place, and they are like in awe of it. They love it.
Yeah.
So
What
they
is
go
this?
into a hardware
Is this
store.
a Dick's Sporting Goods?
Well, it must be something like that because Fatty tries to put a football helmet on his head,
Oh,
and it
it's
won't
too
fit
big-
his
it's
head,
too
and
little.
he's pissed off about
But they
it.
steal like
Looks
a
good on ya,
gun.
fatty.
They steal a baseball bat. They steal a hockey.
The bleeder
mask.
finds a
The
hockey
hockey,
mask.
the hockey mask
This
is real cute.
And it is pre.
Oh, it's way before.
Is it?
It's a year
Jason-
before.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah,
the hockey
Jason-
mask isn't even until 3.
I thought it was like
yeah, Jason
I
doesn't
know,
get a
but-
mask till part 3.
I know, but I thought they were kind of tipping their hat to that.
No, this came out in '82,
No,
so that was still Sack had
It'd be the
Jason.
other way
I don't know my
around.
fucking chronology.
But Frank
Yeah.
gets a gun, and Preacher has a big old knife, and they all have those later.
And then they cuts back to the doctor's house, and Lila gets woken up, I guess, and comes downstairs and asks her mom. And Tony's just like, "Have y'all been smoking pot again?"
But right before
yeah.
that, the bleeder runs off.
Yeah,
Like-
the bleeder when they all steal a van, and the
Yeah.
bleeder runs off. And Tony's like gonna take Lila to bed or whatever, and I was like, "This is the worst." She's like, "I'll be good at tucking her in." I'm like,
And
"Okay,
then
no,
she-
you're not,"
Then
because
she talks about how afraid of the dark she
yeah,
is.
because she's like, "Are you afraid of the dark?" And Lila's like, no, I don't even remember my
Doesn't-
childhood. And I was like, okay, adult Lila, you're like 8 years old.
Doesn't that kid have a shirt on that says "Keep walking, save energy"?
Yes, and then,
I like it.
but she's like,
Yeah.
she talks
Very
about
progressive little
like
girl.
hating the dark and how there were monsters in the closet and under the bed.
This kid don't give a shit about any of that.
And then Lila was like, well, you sound like a pretty messed up kid.
Yeah, this kid's years beyond these people in intellect.
And then,
Then the bleeder kills a guy to steal his van, even though they already have a car. Anybody uses one of those 3-prong garden tools?
yeah, it's a
Hand
garden.
fork.
It's called a garden fork in this one. But yeah, he rips his throat out, and then his nose. When they said he bleeds from his nose,
Yeah,
It fucking
yeah, it was
goes.
really
he
cool.
bleeds from his nose. That's not a regular nose, but it's gushing. And then
Hot.
I was like, the city
He's a
succumbed to.
squirter.
I was like, this city succumbed to chaos very quickly. But
Yeah,
then,
these people were waiting for this.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
But then it's
any day now.
all of a sudden it's the next day, which I thought was really cool because I
and
do
nobody
like
gives
it.
a shit. It's all over.
I do like it when there's like it doesn't all happen in one night.
Yeah.
So we're to the next day, so it's like light again. So we're supposed to feel safe, I guess.
We see a little mailman guy on a bicycle.
It's like an old timey postman.
Yeah, he looks like a bike Nazi.
Frank-
He's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck
Frank
is this?
wants his hat.
Yeah. He goes, I want that.
So there's they
then
chase
that's
him for
where
a
I
I thought he was
while.
talking about something else.
Well, that's where I wrote, where's the bleeder? Because the bleeder is not in the van.
Yeah, well,
so,
he took off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He booked it.
And he goes, the postman's like, were you some kind of asshole? And I was like, yeah, they are. They are assholes.
Martin Landau
They
was
are
just like
being
cackling.
assholes.
I mean-
Like,
Martin Landau's just cackling out the window.
dude, I thought Martin Landau was kind of creepy as just the what do you call it, the goon in North by Northwest, but this one he's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
really good in this.
Eddie. Sorry.
So
They
they,
ended up reversing and punching it, and just he goes flying when the
so
van
Byron
hits him.
gets his hat.
And there's a little scene where he puts it on his head. So
Tony's making a poster for a nuclear.
it was a pretty good poster.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was
I
cool.
thought it looked like something that a high schooler made.
I thought it was
Whoa.
fairly uninspired myself.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys. But that one, she was
I mean,
making
it
that
wasn't
for,
as good as
Talk
my.
all
It
that shit
wasn't as
about
good as
American
my.
Mary, but you're gonna stick up for
It
this
wasn't
poster
as
just
good
because
as
you
my
want.
Confederate flag one that said "Fly this free bird to the front row" at that Leonard Skinner concert.
Oh,
Dang. But
Didn't
so
work.
there's a knock at the door, and it's,
My most embarrassing moment I just told out loud.
hey, at least it's not me this time.
Well, yours is worse. So
we'll get there.
So, no, preacher shows up at the door
Well-
with a telegram.
But we also have to say Nell is also going to a protest. They're going.
Yeah,
Tony
they're
and Nell are
gonna
going to
go.
go to a nuclear.
That's what the poster's for.
Yeah, but she was like, "This is your post or whatever." So yeah, Byron shows up at the door for pretending to be a telegram.
And he says
guy.
he's going to come back later.
Yeah.
So then we cut to Potter and Bane at Haven, and they're talking about how there's 6 people missing, but that's not even including the third floor guys. So I guess 10 total inmates have escaped. And
And he goes, "Those men were moving along so well," and then he says, "Their violence is pain that no one can hear." And Dan says, the 3 men they murdered heard them," and I was like,
well, who's
"Facts."
the third one?
Well,
There's
I guess. Well,
Ray and the doctor.
He's saying the 3. That apparently between those 4 guys, 3 they murdered 3 men.
Before this?
Yeah, yeah.
Because they murdered 2 last night.
Yeah, they don't know about this stuff yet. They're talking about what got them sent away.
But they know about Ray, and they know about Dr.
Bergen.
Barney.
Barney. Bergen.
Dead guy.
I don't know.
Bergen Arnie.
Okay, well, anyway, Lila gets home, and Fatty's there. She's by herself because her mother is in jail with Tony. And
Yeah, and a guy
Tony and
named
Tom start
yeah.
flirting. He's the black
Well,
eye guy.
Tom.
Protest love.
Guy with the black eye.
Yeah, Tom says, because Nell wants to use the phone because she needs to call because her kid's getting home,
Lila's
whatever.
home.
And he's like, you have to wait in line. And Tom is actually next in line to use the phone, so he lets Nell go before him, so she's like really likes Tom.
And who
I've
says
been to
chivalry
county,
is
and I
dead?
don't think that's how that works.
Well, I guess if there's that many people though at once that they bring in, but anyway, that's when Tony and Tom like
don't know.
start being in love or whatever. So then we go to Bunky's house because she's getting
Bunky.
a phone call.
Yeah.
Her house is really cool looking.
Dr. Potter calls Bunky to get her to go check on Lila. And then, is that when she calls her boyfriend?
No, she
goes
walks into the house.
She goes over, goes upstairs. No, but she's yelling for Lila. Lila's not answering. It's real suspenseful. But then she opens the door, and Lila is
napping,
asleep in bed.
Yeah.
I
So-
thought it would look like, hey, maybe she is dead.
So Bunky's like, I'm going to use this opportunity. That's when she calls her boyfriend.
Yeah.
And he immediately comes over.
I thought she was dead.
She
the
leaves
door's
a-
open.
She leaves a scavenger hunt
Yeah.
of clothes.
There's the Hansel and Gretel bullshit.
Yeah.
Again.
Like
Wait, no,
from the
wait,
mutilator?
no. Hansel and Gretel, they were
It's
brother and sister, Mike.
breadcrumbs.
No, dude.
Yeah, but they
He's
did the
just saying a scavenger hunt.
There's a crumb
Hansel-
tree.
He used the same fucking thing with the
I
mutilator
know,
when
but
Mike was.
Hansel and Gretel didn't fuck, dude.
Oh, you don't
No,
know that.
I'm not saying it's not
It's
that
Grimm's fairy tale. They
it's
could
not that
have
they're the
in
clothes.
original.
It's that there's a trail of shit that people are following.
It's just
It
called a
happens
scavenger hunt.
It happens in
really.
a lot. No, scavenger hunts when like there's clues and you're like,
Well, the clue would
or
be
it's
the
like you
shirt.
have to find something red.
Pants.
But this is like
It's just a trail of
It's
clothes
a
leading into
Hansel
a
and
room
Gretel
where
trope
Bunky's
thing.
on a bed.
the
So-
boy who cried wolf. Yeah,
does
it has,
not apply here
has
at all.
nothing to do with that. But so yeah, she's in bed. She's ready to roll.
Yeah, and she's like, "What took you so long? Now you only have an hour." And I was like, "That's plenty of time, Bunky."
Yeah.
She was like Little Caesars, hot and ready.
Then we see her tits and her weird underwear.
I think they're cute.
I thought they were weird
Bunky
and
is
diaper
where
looking.
It's at in this fucking movie.
They hear a noise.
And then I were, why is Billy's voice as high as Bunky's?
I was about to say they have the same fucking voice.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same. Will you go check that out?
And he goes,
"Oh, really? You think that's something?"
He's like, there's something in the closet, and he's like, "Want to hear the Gettysburg Address again?" And I was like, "What in the fuck are you talking
How does this
about?"
guy have Bunky,
made me
man?
crack up.
It's not real.
So he checks the closet. There's nothing there, and then he immediately gets pulled under the bed.
That's
that
a
was
pretty
really
good scene,
scary.
man.
It was cool. And then this knife starts coming up through the mattress. The second of which, like, is right in her crotch area.
Yeah, well, the third one cuts her hand, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. Third one's at the fingers. But she makes it to the door, even though she's like sitting on this bed forever, just like,
Yeah,
come on, do it again,
just
dude.
waiting.
Do you think
Like,
this is a New Line Cinema thing? Because they did that in Nightmare on Elm Street as well, with him in the bathtub, the hand coming up right in the girl's crotch.
it's hot.
I guess.
I don't know.
So she
somebody
makes
at
But
it
New
to
Line
the
Cinema-
door.
she does get to the door. She gets out.
And then Fatty's there, and he picks her up and strangles her, and it's really cool looking.
Yeah, and
I
it's
didn't know
real.
it was real.
Yeah.
He's
No,
strong.
that actress is dead now.
Yeah,
So
she's dead.
they
So we
she
got
gets so they get the next scene is there's a detective there and
yeah
they're like, well, nothing.
at the Potter home.
Bunky
in the
and
dark.
Billy are nowhere to be found, so they don't think anything happened, except for that they do know, because Lila had woken up and said that Fatty had been there,
Yeah.
but he was nice to her, and Dan's like, oh, well, I'm glad that Fatty wanted to come to my house to talk to me. I was like, you're fucking optimistic.
Yeah.
You know he
You've been hanging
rapes
out with
little girls.
Donald Pleasance too much.
But okay,
There's taking your work seriously
So
is
then-
one
but
thing.
Tom,
but
by the
Tom
way,
and Tony come home.
Tom is with them now because since he let Nell go before him in line, she's like brought him home for dinner. So
Family dinner. The cop stays as well.
Yeah.
Bunky's missing, we hear. Where could old Bunky be? But her boyfriend's also missing.
sweet.
and then
So-
it cuts to Leo trying to
Yeah,
call
he's
Dan,
trying to call, but can't get through for some reason.
and he's real paranoid during this. Scene.
And he's hanging out with the receptionist or something.
The real receptionist, yeah.
So they're eating dinner and they hear some sounds. And
real
they kinda
receptionist of Beverly Hills.
They acknowledge it, but then choose to ignore it.
Of
And
wherever
then-
the fuck this is.
Where
is this?
the cop talks
we
about
know
how
where
his
we
It
mom.
are?
could be anywhere, Emily.
The cop talks about
Anywhere
how his
USA.
mom would hear
Could be your
the
town.
TV when it was turned off. And then they hear another bump, and the cop cop goes Scooby-Dooing around.
Well, before that,
He wants to
Tom's
go
talking
alone.
talking about alternate energy sources, and I was like, I don't. God.
That's only what crazy people talk about.
But
right?
Dan's really quick to explain away shit with the 4 escape mental patients who want to kill him. He really
Even though Ray already told him, like, hey, they're talking about killing you.
Yeah,
and two of them have been at your house today.
Yeah, but
at
he's
least.
just like, it's cool. Like, I'm glad they want to talk to me. I'm like, you are really
Preacher.
whatever.
He took a hit off Donald Pleasance's pipe.
So, bye, detective, and he's like, everyone stay cool. And I was like, why isn't anyone taking this seriously? These 4 escapees were convicted of really serious crimes.
No, you saw how fast this town really got over a blackout riot looting.
Yeah, they're over the next day. They're like,
whatever, time to deliver the mail. Like, whatever. Yeah, like, last night was wild, wasn't it?
Yeah. No one is even talking about the fact that
it was fucking
the
crazy.
whole town looted everything.
Yeah.
But
You can't arrest everybody.
So
the cop goes outside and
that part's kind of
takes his damn
tedious.
time.
That part gets
walking around the
tedious,
yard
yeah.
until he gets like stapled to a tree with a crossbow bolt.
Which you know what that reminded me of?
And the whole family is just watching.
You know what that reminded me of though? And I think that
Was it a backwoods slasher?
no, and it's a newer movie. No, it's not new now, but
Was it American Mary?
No, You're Next.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
Is that the one with Kane?
No, it's the one with
Is that See No Evil?
with what's her face?
Barbara Crampton?
Yes, and there's like a family home. The first like death is as a crossbow goes through the window and kills one of the first like the daughter's boyfriend. I think they took it from that because everyone's like watching. It's very similar to that movie. That part. No, the whole rest of it's not, but whatever.
Barbara Crampton.
So like,
Have you not seen it either?
You gave me a copy, but I don't watch anything.
You should talk about the Patreon.
You should watch
I haven't watched a single one of these movies we've talked about the whole time I've been on the podcast.
I was about to say you've ever watched
I've just been kind of going through it with you guys. Pretty good, huh?
cool. Good notes for a movie you've never seen.
I never saw it. I just guessed.
Good.
But
You think you're reading the back of the box?
next time because I was like, you're in a blackout. The phone isn't going to work, and Tony might have another breakdown. But this time it's okay.
Old school phones still worked when the power was out.
And there's a weird Tom and Dan
Because you call
dynamic.
KUB on the phone.
Yeah.
Your answering machine wouldn't work. The
But
phone.
Tom and Dan
Phones
are
and
like kind
radio
of having
still
a
work.
whose dick is bigger contest, like who's going to go to the car.
Tom is kind of owning the ladies.
They
He's
decide,
like,
we're going to have to defend this place.
But then they
he's
look
got a
outside
smoldering
and they see that the detective's body is gone.
Yeah, he's gone now.
So, and then Lila says she needs a Valium.
and then doesn't the mom go upstairs and get Valium
Yeah,
even
she
though
actually
Lila
goes
doesn't
and
But
get
gets
it?
Valium.
she gets it for Tony, but then
After
there's
an
a...
arrow, while an arrow's flying through the window, the mom comes back with Valiant.
Something tells me Layla's gotten into the Valium.
So-
Yeah, there's
times.
a shot through the window, and I was like...
So they decide to move a bookcase over in front of the window, but then there's just a shot through that. So-
That's a pretty good shot.
And Donald Pleasance still can't get them on the phone. What do you mean disconnected?
And he goes, you
do you
never call the
mean,
police. Then he's like, and then he talks to the operator, and he's like, she has a serious problem. And I'm like, is she not
Dude,
on a voyage too?
He's sitting there with the pipe, and the operator's like, listen, dude, number's off. And he's like, no, that can't be right. And it's like, this guy is so stoned. He's like,
Science.
that's not how phones work. And she's like, dude, I assure you it is. I sit here every night. I'm a
promise
switchboard
you,
operator.
the phone is out of order.
yeah, listen, bro. Like,
So he
We're
can tell
working on
something-
it.
He starts getting really worried. The family is in the living room, like brainstorming.
But Tom
things.
is like, no, they can't call. Tom's the one that explains phones to them. And he's like,
yeah.
So,
the crazy guy explains how
well,
phones
we don't know
work.
that yet. So.
It doesn't take any time at all for Donald Pleasance to show up because they hear a car and it is Dr. Leo. He wants to talk to the guys. They're trying to yell at him like,
He's
"Get
like,
back in
it's
your car.
fine.
Go
I'll
get the
find him and
cops."
we'll talk.
And he's just being a real airhead.
He's
He
just
is
asking to be
stoned
murdered.
as fuck, dude.
And then
And he sees Byron.
Byron
He's
the
like,
did you guys hear the eagle noises?
Yeah.
Like for some reason when Byron showed up, they'd be like,
yeah.
like just the eagles keying in the distance.
But he's like, Byron,
King,
hello. I bet you're confused. So
Get
you
over
can come
here.
and talk to me.
You gotta hit this
my
fucking pipe.
friend. And
He
everyone,
cuts off
and
his
everyone,
fucking ear.
I know you're crazy, but if you hit this, it's gonna
everyone inside is like, no, he's
Yeah.
got no, do not, he's gonna murder you.
bring the pipe inside.
But he,
It's called To Light in the
he
Rain.
immediately like gets his ear cut off
And he
by
just,
Byron,
like-
and then he starts talking about the Ten
He
Commandments.
doesn't seem too concerned about his ear being cut off.
That's when he talks about the. He tries to like tell preacher like thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments.
I guess he is on opium if he can't feel shit.
Well, he gets in his car and he tries to turn it on, but Byron is just preaching and starts laughing.
And then he hacks him.
But
then it cuts to Dan. It's like, I wrote, I just remembered they wanted to kill me.
Yeah.
I was like, reasoning is really going to work on these crazy.
He
What
seems
the
like it's a major realization. It's like, he should have not forgotten
He was like, oh, yeah, they think that I killed Mert, and oh, no.
How did it take him that long to figure that out?
And then
he starts
everyone's
yelling
just
out the window, like trying to negotiate with Frank.
standing and looking at everything. They're just like standing there doing nothing.
So then they start having another family meeting when the mutilated cop's body's thrown through the window, and Tony just like freezes.
Oh, and that's when Dan says Hawks is running this show.
I knew that from the beginning.
I mean, yeah, we did, but
Who ran it? Jack
so
Palance.
Tony's like going
She's
nuts
like,
again.
Yeah, she starts like.
I was like, this is a
Going
great
down the
incident to happen
hallway.
as soon as you get out of a fucking mental hospital for a nervous breakdown.
So, like, this little part, I got super crazy Night of the Living Dead vibes. They're, like, hammering on the window. And then the one kind of did, out there ladies, like, just, like, frozen in terror. And she ends up seeing a fucking zombie at the window at the end of the hallway.
Did you notice it looked like a burned young Jason? And you know who came in just to do that makeup? Tom Savini.
Really? I had no idea.
He wasn't the main special effects guy, but he did come in to do that one effect.
She was having
a hallucination, yeah.
So maybe it wasn't a hallucination. Maybe it was Jason's ghost.
It looked like Jason.
This
Yeah,
is
it looked
all
like young
haunting.
Jason. Yeah.
Crazy.
And he's like, but Dan talks to Tony. He's like, breathe deeply. Hopefully we don't have to go through this again. Well, I was like, well, no shit.
Yeah, she thinks there's an open window, but it's not.
Yeah.
She's just straight tripping.
Then Lila says something hilarious in the background. I can't remember. She says something that's just rude. And it's like,
you been smoking grass again? Then we start hearing smashy sounds. She realizes she's crazy. We hear smashes. There's a fire in the basement. There's teenagers just falling out of the closet. Yeah, they open the closet and the Bunky and Billy
they fall out. The bodies.
And then so Potter's like, I'm going to the basement if there's a fire, and him and Preacher kind of duke it out in the basement.
I like how Preacher had been in the basement that whole time with that fire, and it's like, dude, you would be suffocating. Like smoke inhalation would have taken you down, dude.
Yeah, Dan has a fire extinguisher, which
makes
not
sense.
all homes are equipped with fire extinguishers. By the
They
way,
should be. I got two of them.
I don't have one.
It didn't.
I've
been through a house fire before.
Two of my smoke detectors don't even work. Yeah. They're not even set up. But anyway, so Dan like beats the shit out of Byron with the fire extinguisher, and then he puts the fire out
with 3 sprays. That never happens.
And then I wrote Lila for the win on Fatty.
Yeah,
because
dude, Fatty comes running around the corner.
When
Lila
he comes running in, she trips him with a knife.
It's the shit.
And then
smartest person in the movie.
This whole scene is fucking excellent.
This is great.
So he gets a cleaver in his back, and then one of the other characters hits the cleaver in more with a baseball bat.
No, Tom does both of those.
Tom does both?
Yeah,
okay.
He hits him in the back with the cleaver, and then they're all freaking out because Fatty keeps getting up.
The Bleeder's always hated Fatty.
Yeah, so he takes a fucking...
well, we don't know it's the Bleeder.
I know.
Yeah.
He takes a bat, though,
Tom hits him.
Doesn't it make more sense in hindsight? He's like, I've been waiting to kill this fat motherfucker for a long time.
Yeah, so Tony starts hugging Tom after Fatty's dead. But then she starts getting all this blood dripping down on her. And we realize it's coming from Tom's nose. Tom's the Bleeder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But Potter's also
that was
running
awesome.
Potter's also running for the car at this point. But it won't start.
At the same time, though, we have good clutch assist with Lila with the knife to Mom.
Yeah.
She throws knife to Mom and she
stabs the shit out of
Tom and the Bleeder in the stomach, and then Byron's back.
Yeah, Preacher comes back. There's another knife fight.
Nell and Tony just stand there.
What else are you gonna do?
I don't know, something.
But Preacher gets stabbed in the back. Was that again by Tom?
No, that was by Dan.
Potter?
No, Dan made his wife do it. Oh no, wait. Tom, okay.
The wife
Dan
stabbed the Bleeder.
Yeah. And then that's when Jack Palance, a.k.a. Frank Hawk, he comes in And he's like,
Hey there, sugar bums.
he does the typical Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes type
confrontation.
thing where it's like, it's not just us crazy ones who kill. We all kill, Doctor, when we must. And we all die when it's time.
Over here,
And then the
thinking of what
power
I'd like
comes
to do
back
to you.
on.
I was like, oh, the blackout's over. That's convenient.
It was an
But
act
guess
of
who
God.
happens to be on TV? It's
But
Dr.
as
Merton.
soon as it comes back on, there's a special news report, and Merton's on it.
Dude,
yeah,
this
I was
is
like,
this is one of my favorite parts of the movie
very
because
convenient.
Dan, the doctor or whatever, he's Jack Palance is sitting there about to kill him, and he's like, "Dude, look, motherfucker, like,
He's
look,
like, it's
dude,
Merton.
like, I like how it's naturally acted that he's just like, dude, like,
Yeah, and then, but I like it. Then Frank turns to him when he's like, it's Merton. He goes, be quiet, because he's very entranced with seeing Merton on the TV and like still taking up for them as patients.
Yeah.
He's like still saying that they're on a journey or what the fuck ever. I don't know.
And so he smashes the television.
But
And then
he
starts
heartbreakingly
weeping.
breaks down. It's
Yeah.
very like
it is good.
It's,
yeah,
it's
it does. Even though he's done terrible things, he's playing this crazy, really
he's done,
good.
but he's
yeah.
done. It's like really.
And he's like, fuck this, I'm going to a show.
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
goes
yeah.
Well,
to- he
they,
goes to
I think
Stumps.
Dan says, I guess we made it. And I was like, what? Okay. And I was like, well, Frank's out and about now at this rock venue from earlier. And he's
So-
on a new journey now where he won't pay to
didn't
get
have
into a show.
He didn't have any
Nope.
cash, so he beats the fuck out of the bouncer.
And
Takes
the-
the money, takes the door
the way he
money.
back-
The people love it.
The way he
Dude,
backs
it's
up
punk
into
rock,
him,
man.
and I thought it was a really good move.
So he's now a punk rocker.
Yeah, he goes to a
Um,
punk rock show and he finds punk rock love.
And she's like, hey, face.
She just
Tuesday,
starts like,
bar, remember?
but he's like rubbing a gun on her face, and
Yeah.
she's loving it.
And she goes, you wouldn't dare, huh? And then she says, someone says rock or die.
Yeah.
And then it's over.
Dude, yeah, Jack Palance
Yeah.
goes to a punk rock show and he's cured.
Yeah,
Finds a girlfriend
he
and
wasn't
everything.
crazy. He just had to find his
He just
tribe.
to find his
Yeah,
people.
dude.
Just needed to find his tribe.
Rock and roll and punk rock rule, man.
So kill count.
Kill, count, kill, count.
1, Ray Curtis, the saddest of all the
That
deaths
is
in
the
my
saddest,
You
opinion.
guys
Yeah.
know Curtis is my middle name.
Yes,
Yeah,
you have it on
yeah.
your.
Oh yeah.
Don't tell anybody more information about him. He doesn't
yeah.
need
It's
it.
okay.
He just did.
I don't
All
care.
right. Yeah. Do you want to throw your
so-
social security number out there?
This is at
How
30.
could hell be any worse, man?
So
Do
the
you
fir-
like Bad Religion?
Yeah, you're a lot.
The first death is at 32 minutes. It's Ray Curtis. He is beaten by Preacher, and then his spine is snapped in half by Fatty. The next, 1 minute later, is Dr. Barkin, random doctor. He's thrown out of a
thrown.
car by Fatty. Then-
He only shows up in this movie to die.
Yeah. 5 minutes later, there's a looter who has his throat ripped out with a gardening fork by the bleeder. 3 minutes after that, the postman is run over by hawks with a van.
That was just them being dicks.
Yeah. 13 minutes later, Billy has his throat slit with a machete by a preacher, although it's off screen. 2 minutes after that, Bunky is strangled to death by Fatty. 7 minutes later is Detective Burnett. He's shot in the chest with a crossbow by Hawks. 9 minutes after that, we have Dr. Leo Bain. He's hacked to death with an axe by Preacher. And then, let's see. 121, I don't know how much that was. That was about probably like 9 minutes later. Fatty dies by being stabbed in the back with a cleaver by Tom
Best
slash
death in
the
the-
bleeder.
best death in the movie.
And he's beaten to death also with a bat.
Besides Bunky being strangled.
2 minutes after that, we have John the Bleeder Skag slash Tom Smith stabbed in the stomach with a knife by Nell. And then our last death is at a minute later. It's Byron Preacher Sutcliffe stabbed in the back and beaten to death with a fire extinguisher by Dan. Okay, so I already said this was the third feature film produced by New Line Cinema after the movie Stunts and the movie Polyester. It's one of the first horror films made with Dolby surround sound and often blew out the older theater's speaker systems. So,
Oh, shit.
yeah. Matthew Broderick auditioned for the role of Bunky's boyfriend, but the director, Jack Shoulder, who also did Nightmare on Elm Street 2, he thought that Matthew Broderick was too talented for such a small role, so he
Sorry,
denied
Ferris.
him the role. Like we said, Fatty lifting Bunky up by the throat was real. He was a bodybuilder. I already said this too. Savini was brought in specifically to create the monster apparition Tony has, and he made it out of soap and Rice Krispies cereal.
Yummy.
The director, what's his name again? Jack Shoulder. He edited. Before he did this movie, he edited The Burning. He also has directed a few movies like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Witchmaster, Generation X, Arachnids. I think so the budget was estimated to be $1 million. I couldn't find how much it made. Originally it was the storyline was supposed to be a blackout and the escapees are rounded up by the mafia in New York City, but it was weird. Too expensive. Produced by Robert Shea.
Things that make you go,
Why would that happen?
I don't know. But,
hey, we got to get these crazies off the streets.
So you said Ray was in The Running Man?
Yeah.
So was Fatty.
Fatty was like one of the main villains.
Yeah, Fatty was in The Running Man.
Dynamo, the opera singer.
Stir Crazy, with what are their names?
Stir with a spatula.
Willy Wonka. What's his fucking name?
Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Oh,
and he was also in The Wanderers. Dwight Schultz, who played Dr. Dan Potter, he was that crazy guy in the A-Team. He was in Star Trek First Contact and 5 episodes of The Next Generation, and he does
all kinds of voice acting shit.
Like any
Vampire Hunter D.
Every video game.
Yeah, lots of anime stuff too.
Like almost every video game I've seen, like exists.
He played the typical role of the new Doctor pretty well, man.
Yeah, I thought he did well.
He made it his own.
What do you give this?
I give it 4 stars. It was really good.
I gave it a 3.75. I couldn't give it a 4. But
I give it a strong 4.
I'm going 3.5. I give
it a strong 3.75. But 4 is high. It's way too high for me.
3.5 here.
Yeah.
I really liked it, but
Martin Landau was creepy as fuck. Jack Palance was Jack fucking Palance.
It was very cerebral
Donald Pleasance
movie.
Was Donald Pleasance.
It was hard to take notes too.
Why?
Because my brain's on half speed today. I'm hungover.
Okay. Well, that's your fault.
Well, what'd you do last night, Mike?
I partied with you, Nick.
Yeah, and I'm not hungover. I'm still drinking.
We were invited to a party.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen often.
I was not. Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
An asshole.
Yeah. Hey, he's a nice man.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll see about that.
I don't know. Maybe with an attitude like that. With an attitude like that, there might be a reason you weren't invited.
There might be a reason that my name was left up on the fucking bathroom walls in that place. So.
Hey, everybody's name's in that fucking bathroom.
Not as much as mine.
Oh, man.
So
I wrote it there last week.
William changed them all to make them say
nice things. Guys, we're still on the air.
Oh, who cares? Anyway, so stay gagged on Jack Palance.
Stay gagged on Bunky.
Stay gagged on Tony, man.
I'm a Bunky dude. I'm a Bunky boy, dude.
Yeah, Bunky's hot.
Bunky's fucking where it's at.
Toy axes on stage.
Stay gagged on the Sick Fucks, which we'll be playing as our outro.
Stay gagged on Sugar Bums. Cool. Stay gagged on Brand X.
Yeah, stay gagged on Jack Pound's breathing.
Stay gagged on a blackout.
I'm a number 1.
And stay gagged on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me With a Knife Podcast, Twitter, Gag Knife Pod. Sign up for our Patreon at www.patreon.com/GagMeWithAKnife for member shout-outs, fan-requested episodes, early access to episodes, and bonus exclusives that you will not find anywhere else. We have 2 up so far. We'll be doing soundtracks soon. And Katie Mosley.
Mitchie the Kid.
You can buy our merch at www. No, not www. Sorry.
www.
You can buy our merch at gagmewithanightpodcast.com, and we will see you next time with our shot on Video 555.
That's our trip.